Okay, this is pertaining to interviewing skills. I know back in the 80s when I was interviewing, we focused on positive attitude and friendliness towards everyone in the office. You never know what employee will put in a good word for you. And here's a prime example. In 1999, when I was an interview candidate for the Chamber of Commerce, I walked in with a positive attitude. And again, your living environment, your personal environment will help you with that attitude. If you already have a positive living environment, a positive attitude, you will have no problem walking in, being friendly, and keeping that positive spirit throughout your interview. So this is how I beat out the other candidates for the receptionist job. And when I walked in, I passed interviewee, which she had finished interviewing right before I went in, and that made me nervous because she had her stuff together. She was like put together. She was confident, and I had to tell myself, don't let that deter you, because it's something about myself that could also beat her out. Even though I was sharp, I had this double-breasted dress. It was green, blue, and white, light colors. It was a pattern of like stripes going horizontal and vertically, and the collar was white, and it folded over. And when you dress well, when you think you look good, it affects your attitude in a positive way. So, when I walked in, the receptionist at the time was warm and friendly. We had a brief conversation before I went to my interview. We laughed, probably about the weather or something, that generic conversation you have with strangers. After we had a conversation, I went and interviewed with my immediate boss. He was friendly as well. He asked me what I wanted my pay to be, and I already looked up this information ahead of time. The pay range, the hours. You always look up a company before you interview, because sometimes they will ask, so, why do you want to work for this company? Or, what do you know about this company? So I read off a few things that I read about them. He was impressed. I told him my job rate that I wanted. He was writing that down. I'm not sure where he was writing. But that interview went well. And then, unbeknownst to me, he told me I was going in to meet the president and the vice president. Okay, so I went in, and his office was so comfortable. It was an interview setting. I sat down in the comfortable chair. They sat across from me, and we just had a conversation. Like, normal conversation. I made a few jokes, probably nervous jokes, and they laughed. And they asked me about myself. We shook hands, and I left. And it was a long 3 weeks. After 2 weeks, I was like, oh, I probably didn't get it. And I started looking for other jobs. And then all of a sudden, I checked my email. You have to check on your email every day, because I went a couple of days without checking my email. When I saw the email, it had been sent like 2 days before. I was like, oh my goodness. They said, congratulations, you have been selected, for this position. Please reply if you still want it. I replied right away because I wanted that job. It was a great environment. The people were nice and friendly, and they were genuine. And during my first day, I was told that the receptionist that I met, the first person I met when I walked in, she told the bosses that I was the friendliest person that came in for their interview. And I believe that's what helped me land that job. Friendly, warm, personable. Just be yourself. And you have to remind yourself, you're talking to people. They're people just like you, but they hold a higher position most of the time. They're just people. Talk. Now, what gets me nervous is the interview time. They didn't put a time on this interview, and that is what made me so relaxed. But normally, you have 20 minutes, and then if you're going along and, answering questions, 2 minutes left. Like, how can you put a time on an interview? Oh, well, that's some people's thoughts. But the bottom line is be kind to whomever you come in contact with. Have a positive attitude. Smile. And just be yourself. If you don't get the job, there's probably a better situation waiting for you. It's not the end of the world. Happy interviewing.